Morning, everyone. Frank from High School Sportsline, WNY Athletics. How is everyone on this Friday, the 17th? Today's show, I've got an interesting cast of characters showing up in just a little bit here. Five guys that I'm extremely proud of, seniors, multi-sport athletes, and just a great bunch of guys. Why am I wearing this headset? Doing too many things at once. Anyways, I don't even need the headset. Anyways, so they're going to be joining me about just a few minutes here after a word from our sponsor, Logistics Plus of Buffalo. Thanks to PrepStar and the Paul Wolf Insurance Agency in Kenmore for their sponsorship. We much appreciate that. A couple announcements. Aaliyah Parker from O'Hara has committed to Niagara. You saw that in the paper. Excellent. Congrats to her. She's going to do very well at the next level. The All West New York girls have been announced in the Buffalo News. I know it's online, but you'll be able to see that in print on Sunday. All those great pictures by the Buffalo News Sports Department, especially Harry Skull, the best in the business by far. Big shout out to Harry. He's been calling me the last few days, weeks, making sure that we're doing well. Not even worried about himself. He's asking how we're doing. So, Harry, I definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're doing great. We're doing great. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Why don't we get into these videos? Not going to be a long show today because I want you to enjoy your weekend with your family. So right after a word from Logistics Plus of Buffalo, you're going to see these five cool cats I have.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to WNYathletics.com. This is Sportsline, and today I've got a rather unusual cast of characters today of senior athletes, five individuals that I have been following very closely the last few years or so because I have a personal connection to these gentlemen. I coach them in baseball through the Town of Tonawanda Youth Baseball League. Five very interesting cats that I'm extremely proud of, as they are all seniors now and entering, they were entering the last month and a half of their senior years. All of them are multi-sport athletes. Three of them had spring seasons coming up that were cut short due to this coronavirus. And I'm hopeful that all five of them get the opportunity to walk across the stage sooner than later to receive their diplomas. I know they all worked extremely hard to get there. I'm joined by, from Kenmore East, Michael Greiner. He is the volleyball and hockey captain. Dalton Gaughan plays football and basketball. And from North Tonawanda, I have Bryan Toth. He is the captain of the soccer and baseball team. From Cardinal O'Hara, I have Zach McClear. He plays football, ice hockey, and baseball. And from Kenmore West, I have Mr. Gary Kelly. He is a football and rugby player. And like I said, they're all very interesting young men, very proud of them. On the baseball field, our team was highly successful because of the efforts and the because these gentlemen were awfully mature, and some not as mature as others at times. We're not going to mention any names. There's a lot we could talk about. I'm just extremely proud of these guys. And, you may not have heard their names before, especially with all the high school sports that we cover. Greiner, is a very good hockey player, did very well in volleyball as well. I know we've mentioned his names a bunch of times throughout the hockey season. Bryan had an incredible soccer 4 years on the soccer team there at North Tonawanda. Very good and extremely good baseball player, and probably one of the smartest baseball players to come out of North Tonawanda in some time. Well, at least since his older brother Kyle. Gary, just a tough kid who accepts his role and filled the gaps in there on the football team for the Ken West Blue Devils. and then goes out for rugby, keeps that program going. I don't know. They're not called touchdowns in rugby. I don't know what the hell they're called. But whatever they are, Gary crossed the goal line at least once last season. I was very, very happy to see him do that. Dalton Gone, just great job from the free throw line for Kenmore East. I saw a number of Bulldog basketball games this year, and Dalton, as tall as he is always there for a nice key block for Jim Badgley's team. And, never screwed up on the foul line. I mean, he must have been 100% when I saw him. So Dalton likes to knock down those free throw shots, does a great job. And then Zach probably had one of the toughest years from an athlete standpoint at O'Hara. Just a tough, hard-nosed football player. Zach did a great job on the line for the Hawks this year, but they just didn't have as many games as they originally thought they would. So Zach's been through a lot this year athletically, and through that whole thing, he's really been a leader off the field. And, he also played ice hockey. His team this year made it all the way to KeyBank Center. Of course, O'Hara, I believe they're partnered up with City Honors. But that contingent had a hell of a season. They made it all the way to the finals. And then he's going into the senior year of baseball, and that season is about to get cut short or wiped out completely. So I'm going to start with Zach first. Mr. McClear, how are you today, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So basically, Zach, we saw you earlier this year in the fall at a couple different O'Hara games, and certain games were getting wiped out because either not enough players or what have you. And that had to really weigh on you earlier in the fall because you're trying to get that football film on yourself to maybe showcase to potential D3 coaches or even some JUCO coaches. What was it like playing on O'Hara this year and not getting as many games as you guys thought you were going to get?
It was better than I thought it would be, even though we're playing like one of the best leagues in football here at Western New York. We could have got more games. Would have been better for me or our seniors to get more film for colleges. That's really what came down to, like.
But I believe you're going to head over to ECC this fall, and you're going to get a shot at playing more football on that Cats team.
Yeah, I am.
So you're going to go to ECC, study mechanical engineering. So, again, the fall season was a little rough in terms of not getting as many games as you guys would have hoped, but you guys still had a lot of good football players there.
Yeah.
In O'Hara. You go into the winter season playing some ice hockey, and you guys had some success there. You made it all the way to the KeyBank Center.
Yep.
Just talk about that winter season.
We always have been a good team for City Honors O'Hara hockey. It just went really well this year. We've dominated like every team we played. And when we got to the championship, we just, I don't know, we thought our opponent weren't as good as we were, so we didn't try as much. Thought we were going to win, and we came to a loss.
I was hoping you guys might scrimmage that Michael Greiner, Kenny's Bulldog team at some point.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. And then, unfortunately, this baseball season, scrambling around there to put something together. What's the mindset of that baseball team, and are you guys Zoom chatting at all to stay in touch?
No, we haven't been chatting at all. But
okay,
our team was looking good, and then this happened. So,
all right, we're gonna head on down to Mr. Dalton Gone there. Dalton, you guys had not a bad football season. Of course, you beat Gary Kelly's Kenmore West Blue Devils. We're not going to talk too much about that game because I'm a Blue Devil myself. But you guys on the football field, getting it done with your partner in crime, Don Ferguson there. Just talk about your football season, how things ended there.
It started off a little rough. For me personally, I broke my collarbone first game of the season. Second game, that's when I re-aggravated. I was out for the second game, but towards the end of the season, I came back and it ended off well. We ended off with the win.
What was it like finally walking off the field with a win over Kenmore West? I know it's been about 200 years.
It was something powerful. We had a big party that night, I could tell you that.
I'm sure. Was Millard Ellis on that team?
Yes, Millard actually had a great run against Weston.
All right. Well, you give Millard a shout out for him. He's another one of our old. He played St. Paul's one year, didn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think our last year. Yeah.
Utility guy. I love Millard. So Dalton's going to head over to Buff State in the fall, and he's going to try walking on the basketball team.
Yep.
You got an older brother there already?
Yeah, he's graduating this year.
Okay. Talk about basketball. What's it like going up against a guy like Roddy Gale?
He was a good player. Like, he was very tough, and he's a great athlete. So,
out of all the teams you played last year, who was the toughest team that Maurice played?
Toughest team. I mean, there's a lot of tough teams. We faced a lot of good athlete players, but we were in the mix of the games. We never got blown out. It was always like a 2-point game or a 3-point game if we lost. So
we're going to come back to you. Let's go up to Mr. Gary Kelly there, who I'm sure in the middle of all this is just getting some homework done.
Yeah, I actually was.
How you doing, Gary?
Good. How are you?
One of my all-time favorites. So, Gary, after 4 years of Gary, I'm not going to lie. Out of all the guys that I've coached and come across, I gave you a 75% chance of graduating on time. And look at this. You're doing it
It's
in 4
happening.
years. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
I was a little nervous.
I was too, until about a couple of weeks ago.
How is this Zoom chat interaction with your class going as opposed to actually being in the classroom? Is it a lot different? Is it better?
It is a lot different. It's not better so more because, like, if you need that one-on-one, you can't really get it as much. So you're either stuck home asking people for help or waiting for your teacher to be available for that one-on-one. So I find it a lot harder to work because it's a lot harder to stay focused because all day you have, like, your technology all day. You have, like, your PlayStations, your phones, and you don't really put aside time just to sit down. And when you do, you're on your phone half the time, and there's no one to sit there and tell you, like, get off your phone, do your work.
So you're getting a crash course on what it's going to be like at the next level too. In terms of college, these college professors expect you guys to, it's like a job. But you have to treat college almost like a job. The professor is your boss. He's going to give you the work, and you're going to have to go do it yourself. So you guys are kind of getting a crash course on what college life is going to be. Gary, what was it like playing football this year on the varsity team? You got a quarterback, Zach Boys, who's all Western New York type quarterback. What was it like being on that team this year?
It was great. Just seeing, like, everybody playing together. We came off 3 wins strong. We played with the first game of the season. Everyone thought we were going to get blown out. That was our proving game. Zach came out, put us in the papers, told everyone who we were that season, let everyone know we weren't playing. The rest of the season was just like a movie. Everything was almost perfect. The only thing that was, like, the two worst parts of the season was the whole McKinley delay with everything that happened with that. And then just with the delay with all that, it was like us sitting in that locker room for 4 or 5 hours before we even got on to stretch for our game. It took everybody's mind off the game. Everyone was distracted. We were just horsing around the whole time. And that completely brought our mind off the game, which then that led to us getting blown out. We had our heads strong the first half of the game, and then when we got in there, there was 1 or 2 turning points that just didn't fall in our favor, and those really impacted us mentally, and no one had the right drive for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that was a rough one for sure. But, on the rugby field, especially last year, you seemed to really take to that game.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
So what is it that you scored then? For us people that don't know I can hardly spell rugby.
It's called a try.
Okay. And you scored one of those last year or more than one?
I scored 1 last season and the one the season before when I was on the JV squad. But, I scored 1 last season. actually that same game, I fractured my shoulder.
Oof.
And I was out until we got to Wales. And when we got to Wales, that's when I fractured, or I didn't fracture it, but it just got to the point where I couldn't take contact at all. And then I ended up being out until it was, I believe, our game before playoffs. And then playoffs, I barely got to play because of the way my shoulder was.
So for the last 4 years, what was the one thing about high school that, whether athletics, academic, dare I ask, what's the best thing that's happened to you the last 4 years? What was your greatest high school experience so far?
I honestly
Besides
think
winning
it
a
wasn't
championship with St. Paul's.
Oh, yeah. 4 or 5 of those, I think. I had to say it wouldn't be really a memory, but I think just the group of guys and girls that I have right now in my life is probably the most solid group I've ever had. And that's probably the best thing that I'm going to take away from high school. Like, I don't want to be rude and say teachers didn't do a lot, but they did everything for me. They did a lot. They got me through these rough 4 years where I didn't think I was going to get through. And then, but it was just these group of people just so strong, motivating. It's just nice to have, because in our group we have other athletes like Santo Falsoni, Matthew Shamara, Jason Diaz, Angelo Sole, all great guys, Michael Lusthouse, all great athletes that you're always hearing names about, Zach and Michael especially. And it was just sweet. And it really brought us together, just always being the big group and then coming together, having us all together as one. And just being that support group that I don't really know how to explain it, but that's just the best thing I'm going to take away from high school.
Nice. Mr. Toth, how are you,
How you
sir?
doing? Good. How are you?
Very good. So, Bryan, 4 years of soccer and baseball, they came to an end. I mean, baseball at this point looks like it's probably not going to happen with them closing things down to at least May 15th. What are you going to take away from your North Tonawanda Lumberjacks career?
It's been a fun time, honestly. I learned a lot from sports, a lot about friendships, leadership, how to take advice from people, constructive criticism. I've learned a lot of things from NCHS that I wouldn't have learned coming from a private school like I did from middle school. So I feel like this broadened my horizons, if you will, a lot.
I know you're going to be heading over to N-Trip, and I know I wrote this down somewhere. Computer-aided drafting?
Drafting design, yes.
What do you like about that, and what kind of experience do you have in that department?
I've been taking classes on it for the past 3 years in my academy inside of NTHS. It's the Engineering and Architecture Academy. And I figured out that I'm not the best at math. So CAD was kind of the way to go. So instead of having a building being lopsided, I could just go on a computer and draw that up. Won't have to deal with as much math, and I ended up being better at it than I expected.
What's the best thing you've done in high school so far? What's the best memory you've had?
I think it would have to be this past soccer season where I earned first team all NFL for soccer. I never expected to get that or to grow as much as a soccer player as I have.
Were you a soccer player before you got to NT, or did you just go off for soccer as something to do?
My first year playing soccer was in the 8th grade. And to be honest with you, I still don't entirely know how the sport works. I just slide tackle into people and it works. That's my claim to fame right there.
All right. Mr. Greiner, Ken Maurice Bulldog, volleyball captain, hockey, ice hockey captain, and you played a little bit of baseball there.
Mm-hmm.
But you've ridden that way. I mean, you were a 4-year starter on that ice hockey team. Just talk about being a part of that group, playing for Coach Prey.
It was pretty awesome coming in freshman year right after we won states. Pretty awesome to make the team. Not the best of a year after that, but it's just great to play with all the best players at the school at the time. The best coach. I mean, can't get a better coach. But it was just great to play with that team 4 years.
I didn't know you played volleyball until just 2 years ago. Just talk about playing volleyball, and you became a captain there.
Yeah, well, freshman year I just picked it up just as another thing to play. And I liked it, so I kept playing and worked up, started to become really good. So it was fun, so kept doing it.
Was it one of those things just to kind of stay in shape for hockey or
Yeah.
get ready for hockey?
Yeah, just to get right before hockey, just to get ready for it.
Now you're undecided right now, so you're not sure what your next move is, if you're going to go to a JUCO or another school, or just you want to get right into the building trades.
Yeah. Or I'm thinking about playing at like GM. So.
Okay. Talk about just the last 4 years collectively, not just maybe ice hockey. What are you going to take away from your high school career?
Probably just people that I've met throughout the years, teachers, great school, great people, a lot to take away.
How often do you bump into the hallways to Mr. Gahn over there?
Oh, I see him quite a bit, a couple classes.
How many lunch periods a day does Dalton have, and how many do you have per day?
I have 0. I do not know how many Dalton has, maybe a couple.
Going back to Mr. McClear here, who went to the private school, Cardinal Heron in Tonawanda. Zach, just talk about going to the private school the last 4 years, how different it was from maybe attending a public school.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot different. We have to wear uniforms, and I don't know, it's kind of more strict than a public school.
I got to be honest, I didn't picture you as being a guy who'd wear a shirt and tie to school every day.
Yeah, me neither.
So were you also in the school play, or were you working to be in the school play this spring?
No, I was not.
I could have sworn I seen you singing and dancing.
No.
That wasn't you?
No.
All right. Someone looked like you. But all you guys did a phenomenal job. You guys really should be commended. That's why I wanted to bring you guys on today, just to kind of, we could talk to the Roddy Gales, we could talk to the Zach boys, and we could talk to the top athletes and all that stuff, but there's a lot more to it than just the guys that make all Western New York every year. There's they have a lot of support, and you 5 guys did a great job of supporting those players throughout the year. Dominic, obviously, Don Ferguson over there at Kenmore East is might be the heart and soul of that football team, but he's got to have a wingman, and you and a bunch of other guys over there played that role to a T. Bryan, same thing with baseball. NT, I thought NT was going to have a phenomenal year in the NFL this year. It really, really sucks if we don't get a few games in, but NT was really starting to rebuild that program. Michael, the Kenmore East hockey team, that's, they're really starting to put things together. I think they're in real good shape for the long term. In fact, honestly, I picked you guys to maybe have an upset here in the playoffs. It didn't quite happen, but I did pick you guys to win that first playoff game. Didn't happen, but I bet those youngsters are going to really benefit from your leadership and your captaincy the last few years. Gary, again, you made it, buddy. You were able to do it. I don't think there was any real bets with money on the line, but I can't tell you how proud I am of you getting through the last 4 years. And next year, you're going to go to ECC?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to study over there?
I'm undecided right now, but I want to get into criminal justice. I want to end up being – yeah, that's what I want to end up doing. But the police officers I've talked to, they've said, don't go for criminal justice. Have, a backup major, because you don't need the criminal justice degree. So I don't know what I want to do right now.
But you'll go to the North Campus this fall?
Yes.
So that means you might be able to carpool with McClear over there?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Can you imagine you 2 guys in the same car every day to school? But you guys, I want to thank you guys very much for coming on with me today on the High School Sportsline. Hopefully you guys are logging onto the site every now and again and checking up on me as much as I'm checking up on you guys. But I can't tell you how proud I am of all you guys, and I'm hoping everybody continues at great success, and you guys all have the same leadership capabilities, and just continue to be good young men.
Thank you.
Have a good one, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, take it easy.
WNYathletics.com is the premier high school sports website in Western New York, providing the best sports coverage of Section 6 and Monsignor Martin leagues. Check out our page for daily game recaps and late-breaking sports news. Our online scoreboards are updated in real time. Never miss a goal or touchdown. Visit WNYathletics.com today or follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube.
All right. So that'll do it for another week of High School Sportsline. 3 straight weeks. Great guests. Next week, got Pete Hudecki in on Monday. Kyrie Demos will be here as well. And that'll start off another great week of high school sports. Great guests. We'll be doing girls basketball on Wednesday, similar to what we just did with the boys. So looking forward to that. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. If you need anything, holler.